If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. The universe has set invisible gears in motion for your hands to touch this video. The guardian angels whispered to your heart, "Listen, because this message is for you." There are words that come like the wind, others like healing, and today you only need to breathe and let God speak through the silence. Perhaps there's a name, a memory, an absence pulsing within you, but nothing is in vain. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a time. Before we continue, tell me, where are you watching from right now? Today, there's something different in the air. Do you feel it? A subtle sensation, almost imperceptible, as if the universe is trying to tell you something. Something about a person, something about a bond that time couldn't break. That person, the one your heart insists on remembering, carries a presence that never fades. Even from afar, they still occupy space. It's like a window that has been shut, but through which the light keeps insisting on coming in. Because there are feelings that don't obey distance or reason. They simply remain silent, waiting for the right moment to bloom again. You feel the echo of this, don't you? Sometimes when night falls and silence covers everything, something inside you awakens. It's as if a part of your soul hears the call of another soul, theirs. It's not ordinary longing. It's a longing that breathes, that walks through the corners of your memory, that visits you when you try to forget. The universe knows this energy. It recognizes the invisible threads that connect two people, even when their paths seem to have parted. And there's something you need to understand. Nothing that was true is ever lost. It may hide, it may fall silent, but it never fades away. That person feels something they can't name. They try to move on, but their heart stumbles over memories. There are moments when silence becomes refuge, because speaking would mean admitting too much. But even in silence, her soul speaks. And what it says reaches you in the form of signs, maybe in songs that play unexpectedly, maybe in dreams that feel all too real, maybe in small coincidences the universe creates just to remind you that the connection still exists. Have you noticed? When you think about something, the world around seems to respond. A phrase, a melody, a scent. Everything seems to whisper the name you're trying not to say. It's the universe saying, "I know how you feel." And God watches over it all with wisdom. He doesn't punish, he teaches. He allows silence because it is in silence that souls learn to hear what they once ignored. This person, this restless soul, feels your absence like one gasping for air in a closed room, and yet doesn't know how to open the window. She watches you in her thoughts, remembers gestures, words, glances that hung suspended in time, and wonders if you feel the same. But you feel it, don't you? Even while trying to move on, there are days when everything feels like a shattered mirror. You look at yourself and see reflections of something that isn't finished yet. The heart insists on revisiting memories, like one trying to decipher what went wrong. But maybe nothing went wrong. Maybe it was just time to grow. The universe works in silence, and there are silences that are bridges, not walls. This person may be distant, but there's a lesson being built within her, and within you too. Because all true love is a school for the soul. It teaches us to wait, to understand, to love without holding on. And God watches patiently. He sees the tears you don't show, sees the nights when you close your eyes and ask for just a sign. And when you least expect it, that sign appears in a word, a memory, a simple breath of wind. Do you see how everything connects? Nothing is coincidence. This message arrives today because something is moving in the invisible. There's a subtle change forming. And this person feels. They feel that the silence was not forgetfulness. It was a contained scream. Have you noticed how silence can speak louder than 1,000 words? There are silences that scream, that plead, that confess everything pride tries to hide. And this is the case here. This person keeps quiet, but inside there's a whirlwind. There is regret, there is fear, there is love. And their heart, as sensitive as it is, picks up on this, because there are bonds that cannot be explained, they can only be felt. You feel the call of this soul even without understanding where it comes from. It's like an old melody that insists on playing, even after the record has stopped. The universe is preparing a reunion, even if it's an internal one. A reunion between what you feel and what this person is beginning to awaken. God is timing it just right. And, in the meantime, he asks for your patience and faith. No, you didn't imagine it all. No, this bond was not just an illusion. The energy that existed between you still vibrates, still pulses, still has a purpose, and even if it seems distant today, it is being worked on by something greater. The guardian angels are around, watching, protecting, guiding. They know that there are pains that only time can heal, and that there are loves that only silence can purify. That's why they ask you to trust. Even if you don't understand, trust, because true love doesn't fade away, it transforms. And sometimes, this transformation happens at the exact moment you learn to find peace with what you feel. Can you feel this peace gradually arriving? It's like a gentle breeze that touches the soul and says, everything is happening as it should. You are not alone on this journey. The universe hears your thoughts, God sees what your heart still cannot say, and this person also feels the call. Maybe in a confused way, maybe in silence, but they feel it. And one day, when the time is right, something will happen. It could be an unexpected message, a chance encounter, a gaze that resurfaces in the crowd. The universe knows when to bring paths together again, and it is taking care of that. But for now, breathe. Allow yourself to feel without rushing. You don't need to chase destiny. It's already coming your way. But now, let's talk about the painful part. Because silence, even when necessary, weighs heavy. There are nights when it feels like a contained scream, an empty space echoing inside your chest. You try to occupy your mind, move on, convince yourself that it was for the best. But something persists. The memory returns. The heart insists. That person drifted away. Not because the feelings faded, but because fear spoke louder. Fear of feeling too much. Fear of losing oneself in something they couldn't control. And maybe fear of seeing themselves reflected in you. Because true love shows us parts of ourselves that we have yet to accept. And you stood there, trying to understand, trying to decipher the signs, trying to create silence within a noisy heart. But the silence from that person began to hurt. It was as if each day without a response was a door closing slowly. Have you ever felt that? That absence that speaks louder than any word. That feeling of being forgotten, yet still sensing that something is being said, just in another language, that of the invisible. Yes, silence can be cruel, but it can also be healing. God allows distance when souls need to mature. When it's necessary to learn to love without expecting immediate return. That person deep down didn't want to hurt you, but their inner shadows spoke louder, and fear, that old acquaintance of sensitive souls, made them retreat. Fear of losing control, fear of needing someone, fear of being truly seen. Meanwhile, you felt the weight of every unsent message, every swallowed word, every what if left unspoken. But the universe saw everything. Nothing went unnoticed in the eyes of God. Every tear, every prayer, every attempt to let go was recorded in the energy of time. And today the universe comes to tell you, nothing was in vain. Not the love, not the silence, not the distance. Everything has a reason. This person needed to distance themselves to find themselves, and you needed to learn to be at peace without depending on their presence. Because true love is not a prison, it's freedom. And sometimes you have to lose in order to understand the value of what you had. But I know that you still feel. There are still days when your heart feels heavy, when the emptiness speaks loudly. And in those moments it seems impossible to believe that anything good could come from this. But God is working. Even when He seems absent, His silence speaks too. And what He is saying now is, wait, something is being restored. This person misses something they can't even name. Sometimes they wonder why you still appear in their thoughts. But it's the universe reminding us that some stories don't end. They just change form. Have you ever felt that someone distanced themselves out of fear and not out of a lack of love? Because that's exactly what's happening here. This person hides behind the silence, but their heart calls out your name in silence every night. And somehow your heart responds. It's a conversation of souls, invisible but real. Do you feel chills, signs, sudden intuitions? They are echoes of this connection, because love, when it is soulful, transcends distances, barriers, and even time. But God wants you to understand something very important. You have not been abandoned, you have been protected. There are things that only time can fix. And if this person returned before the right moment, both would get hurt again. That's why He asks for patience, because true love needs deep roots, and that takes time. In the meantime, you are being prepared. Your soul is growing stronger, and this person is also being shaped silently. The angels are working behind the scenes, healing what pride has wounded. And even if today seems impossible, know this: there are reconciliations that are born from silences. There are reunions that happen in silence, and there are loves that are reborn from the ashes, because the fire that burned them was the same one that needed to purify. The silence of that person made noise. Noise within them, noise within you, noise in the universe. Because when two souls drift apart, the energy of love still vibrates, and the universe feels it, and it responds with signs, with synchronicities, with little coincidences that seem to say, "It's not over yet." But don't rush. Destiny is wise, time is God's instrument. And He is already writing the next chapter, the one where everything starts to make sense. Now just trust. The silence is about to speak, and when it does, it will be with the force of everything that has been held back until now. And now, something is starting to change. Do you feel it? It's as if the air is different, as if the universe is breathing along with you. Nothing is a coincidence. God has never been late. The guardian angels are moving, silent but precise. That person, the one whose absence hurts so much, feels something, more than they admit, more than they can understand. They try to move on, but their heart keeps silently calling your name. There is an awakening happening, a memory that insists, a feeling that hasn't died. It just slept, waiting for the right time. The universe is preparing something that you still can't see, but you can feel it. And deep down, you feel it, don't you? This energy coming in like a gentle breeze saying, everything is falling into place. That person is starting to understand that silence didn't bring peace. It brought longing. That running away didn't heal anything. It only postponed it. And now her heart is gradually opening like a window, letting light back in. You were the reflection that awakened what was asleep within her. You were a lesson, you were love, you were a mirror. And because of that, the universe protected you. Even when it seemed like separation, nothing was punishment. It was preparation. God knows that some loves need to mature before they can bloom again. You may have cried, doubted, asked for signs. And the signs came, even when you didn't notice. A song, a dream, a memory for no reason. Everything was the universe saying, there is still purpose. This person thinks of you, not lightly, but deeply. They feel the emptiness of what wasn't said, the absence of what was simple. And they're beginning to understand that their silence has also reached you. God is at work, not just to unite, but to heal, so that, if a reunion happens, it will be different, mature, genuine, light. The universe doesn't erase stories that sprang from the soul, it simply rewrites them with more wisdom. Do you believe that silence speaks too? Because it is in silence that love finds its truest voice. Everything you've experienced had meaning. Time was the instrument of healing, and now the energy shifts. You are being prepared for a new chapter, where love will not be absence but presence. The silence ends, and when it does, the sound will be sweet. It will be a reunion. It will be destiny fulfilled. There are silences that hurt, but there are silences that save. Yours was healing, hers was learning. And between these two silences, God wrote a new beginning. Nothing that is true is lost. Everything that was real continues to vibrate through time, waiting for the moment to bloom again. Love has not left. It has merely changed form. It has become faith. It has become strength. It has become prayer, and you bloomed amidst the silence. You learned to listen to yourself. You learned that love begins within, and that no one can take what belongs to the soul. Now, the universe opens up. Time, once heavy, begins to blow lightness. The wounds are healing, the heart calms, and what was pain turns into wisdom. This person also feels this change. They realize that distance was a lesson, not an end. That absence didn't erase, it only taught. God works in the invisible, and what He builds there, the visible world cannot destroy. Perhaps there are still shadows, memories, fears, but you are no longer the same. Now you understand the value of waiting, of faith, of silence. When the right time comes, and it will, everything will be different. More true, more free, more radiant. The universe realigns hearts that seek one another, and when two souls are meant to recognize each other, no distance is great enough to separate them. So close your eyes, breathe, surrender. Love is returning in the way that God intended. It might be a reunion. It might be peace within you, but either way it will be love. You are light, and light always finds its way back. If this message reached you, it's because the universe intended it. Nothing happens by chance. Everything has a purpose, even when it seems like mere coincidence. Maybe today you felt peace, or maybe you simply found the answers your heart was searching for. Either way, something has changed, and that is the sign. The guardian angels are at work. God is listening to you, and the universe is responding. Now I want to know, which word from this message spoke to you the most today? Write it in the comments. Your word might be the sign another soul needs to read. And let me know too. Do you believe that silence can unite more than it drives apart? Share what you felt. Your voice can be the echo of hope for someone. If this message touched your heart, give it a like. That way, more people can receive it. Share it with someone who needs to remember that God speaks even in silence. And if you want to keep hearing messages like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way, every time the universe has something to say to you, you will hear it. Breathe, feel, trust. The silence that once hurt now announces a new beginning. Because true love never fades. It only transforms until it can shine again.